Pre-code horror comic book, Spellbound, issue number 16 from August 1953, published by Atlas Comics, with 2 signatures by the interior artists. We take this issue into Ghost Clinic for repair. Greetings, friends. Today we are going to attempt to repair and or restore this very special issue of Spellbound, number 16 from August of 1953. And this is published by Atlas Comics. At the time, Stan Lee was the editor-in-chief. For me, this has a very special value to it because I was fortunate enough to have 2 of the interior artists sign on their splash pages on the inside of this comic book. First, let me show you the problems with this book. One is that not only is the cover off of the comic book, but it is completely split. So you have the front and back cover split, so we need to put those 2 together. Secondly, it's probably hard to see here, but what happened as well is that the interior, the wrap pages, are entirely split. So what I did beforehand is I used archival glue to basically put all of the pages together. I don't think stapling would have been a great idea because these pages are a little brittle, and I just don't think staples would have done it. I think they would have ripped very easily. So over a period of a day and a half, I applied 3 layers of archival glue, and it seems to have worked pretty well. So we'll see how that turns out. Now the last thing, of course, that we're going to do after we get these 2 pages together is to get this inside the book and attach it once again to the spine. There is no way to use the staples on this. They wouldn't work anyways because of the split spine on all the wraps. As I said before, this particular issue has got 2 signatures from pre-code horror artists that I was fortunate enough to get when I visited these gentlemen to interview them for my documentary Haunted Thrills. First up, we have Too Human to Live, which was rendered by Vic Carrabotta, and he signed it down here at the bottom of the splash page. And secondly, we have a signature by Joe Sinnott. He personalized this for me during our interview for Haunted Thrills. This is the superb story behind the door that Joe Sinnott drew. Sinnott did a fantastic job on this. So there you have it, folks. There are 2 signatures in here from pre-code horror artists. So it is my sincere wish to get this comic book back together as much as possible. It is very fragile, to say the least. So as you can see, clearly the pages are browning, tanning heavily, and they're slightly brittle. So this is pretty much a Hail Mary to get this thing back together, but I think we can at least get it to the point where it is stabilized. So the first order of business is to get archival mending tissue straight down the spine here and get these 2 pieces, the covers, together again. So we're going to get out the mending tissue here. You got to do small pieces and just work down the spine. Okay, so I've got that down, and that looks pretty good. Get this centered here, make sure that we're not screwed up there. Oopsie daisy. we go. Now, of course, there is a hole there, as you can see, where the staple originally was. What I'm going to have to do is, when I'm finished with this side, is flip it over and put a small piece of mending tissue over that staple area so you don't have any sticky spots, and of course it reinforces that area. Okay. Yeah, that's these fucking retards. Oh, excuse me. Alright, so far so good. And once again, now I go back and I carefully work the mending tissue into the spine of the comic book. So it just makes for a nice tight bond. And this is just the smooth end of my X-Acto knife. Works as good as anything else, in my opinion. Okay, folks, so there you have it. The front and back covers are now together again. There we go. Now what I have to do, as I said before, is go to the back here, and we're going to have to use a few small pieces. The bottom here, and especially at that staple. And we're going to favor the back, of course, so less is seen from the front. That works like a charm. There we go. Okay, that's pretty decent. Before I turn it back over, I'm just going to work this in a little more, one more time. And so when you fold it, then you're going to see less, as you can see, less tape here on the front, which is, you know, the important aspect. And you're going to see more tape on the back, which is the less important, in my opinion. So that's how I do it, folks. I had previously, of course, glued the spine back together. All of the wraps were split, and they're still delicate, but they're basically together now, which is good. Lift it over just to make sure that we have a good fit, and it's looking pretty good. The next step is to use the acid-free glue to attach the spine back to the inside cover. So that's what we're going to do now. So now we're going to take the glue stick and we're going to glue the spine, folks. And I just simply run the glue stick along the spine. So then we have the spine with the glue on it. Now we're going to close the book up. Once again, make sure that we are square with the cover and the interior pages. And that looks really good. So now what I usually do when I do this type of a thing is I'll kind of tap it like this, so you get that real connection between the spine and the interior. So now this needs to go back in its bag here. Okay, so now I've got the book bagged and boarded again. Once again, I'm going to do this. Not only am I going to tap it on the spine side down, I guess this is what CGC calls a restoration. With this book, there's no way around it. Stapling it just would not work. These pages are too brittle. But at least it stabilizes the book. So there you go, folks. A quick restoration of Spellbound number 16 from Atlas Comics with 2 interior signatures by Joe Sinnott and Victor Carrabotta. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, please like and subscribe. Thank you.